I have been given quiet, peaceful place. I've been given a peaceful season to tell my story and to share my experiences. I have been set in some pleasant places. And I've been meeting quite a few brand new people. And I want to give you a quick introduction to my very unusual life of a learner and a researcher. I have chosen to do a thing that changed my entire program. I had been pretty actively slandering and pushing away the stuff that you might call Jesus, God, Church, and Bible for maybe 30 years, for a long time. And then there was one peculiar thing that was pointed out to me, and I decided maybe I should go in among those people that I've been slandering and just sit with them and figure out anything that they're doing that's right or good or positive. So across a 24-year period, I mean, it was literally like longer than going to medical school and doing internship. 24 years I spent. I sat with the Lubavitch, the Orthodox rabbis. I sat with the Sacramental Catholic Orthodox Christianity people, Russian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, Church of the East, Anglican Episcopal, Roman religion. I sat in all the ancient lineage sacramental churches for long periods of time, not just for a visit. I'm talking about 6 months to 2 years. I sat with the Amish and the Mennonite. Their family joy and singing and togetherness and work and behavior, their family unity was amazing. I kept thinking, I could have been born in one of these families. Look at these kids. They know how to run a sawmill and sing perfect harmonies, and they have a kindness towards their children, and their children's minds are unified with their minds. Oh my gosh. The Mennonites and the Amish, the plain folks, and the separatist groups like the 12 tribes and the Hutterites and stuff like that. I spent time with them. I learned some stuff. Man. And it's very interesting because in that corner of the churchianity world, they are following certain scriptures that these people over here don't pay any attention to at all, as if it doesn't exist. These people are highly focused on certain principles. And then these people over here are highly focused on certain principles. But they don't mesh. And I mean, I literally started feeling like, oh my gosh, if some of these people just did a little bit of what they did, they wouldn't be going crazy. They wouldn't be having the problems that they're having. So, and I started out in what I would call the information Bible super evangelical. you know, just like, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, information, 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 information. The word, the word, the word, the word. But sometimes these people that are into the written word, they get so into the written word and their favorite set of doctrines and teachings, they are unaware of the organic flow and the supernaturalness of the Spirit, which is like beyond words. It's like indescribable. What did he say? Good question. The surprise language is a thing you're going to hear about from me. The surprise language. No, the disciples were not told that they were going to get a surprise language, but they got one. And it became amazing. And it's for you. It's for every human. It's so funny because, the Holy Spirit language, the heaven language, is the language of humans and spirit beings. And it's for all humans. And you don't have to join some special weird church club to just get your gift of the surprise language from the Holy Spirit. So, Orthodox Jewish, sacramental, Catholic, plain folks, super evangelical, charismatic Pentecostal. I'm hanging out with these people and I'm watching people with lifelong diseases get healed. I'm literally sitting down and looking at paperwork that says, the steel rods in a person's leg have disappeared and their leg is totally healed after somebody prayed over them. I was actually working on a project that I call Flat Out Miracle Films. If you just Google Flat Out as one word and Miracle Films as the second word, you might get a little residue of some of my videos from 20 years ago. But I just started going out interviewing people that supernatural stuff had happened to, because I didn't even know that there's all kinds of wild Jesus miracle stuff going on, and it doesn't get in the news. It's not going to be in the news because it's promoting things that make you turn your TV off and say, "Ooh, give me an inspiration, show me what to do today," rather than operating in fear because of all the garbage that the voices around you are saying. So, Orthodox, Jewish, sacramental, Catholic, plain folks, separate community people, the word, the information Bible people, the charismatic Pentecostals, the ones that believe in the supernatural, and also what I would call the social gospel people, the people who actually care more about humans than they do their religious behaviors. They would rather go out and care for the sick and the homeless, and they might not know all of the important scriptures, but they just say, this is what Jesus would do. He would help the people. He was healing the lepers. He was being kind to the ones that have been abused by the Pharisees and the doctors. So I took a 24-year tour of the church mess in America, and I call it my peer group influence tour, because we are so damned influenced by our peer group. People, you will actually choose not to do a thing. You will choose not to say a thing just because you feel it might make somebody uncomfortable, or you know that that person over there doesn't do or believe or talk about that thing. You are so affected by your current peer group that you need to shut away from influences and give yourself some wholeness and some freedom. And the wholeness and the freedom is a thing that I can provide through the Transformation Vacation program that I work with. I work with 20 rehab centers around the country, and they're not perfect, and they've got ordinary messed up people in them, but they are free, and they are a vacation from your devices, from your messed up family, from your peer group influences, and you get lots of personal quiet time to read and study, to think, to write a letter to a person that you need reconciliation with, to write down things, to be quiet, and to have friends that don't know you and your history and don't care what you've done. They don't care what your problems are. They just want to be your friend and help you get towards your best mind, your best goal. So the Mission Teens program, which people, when you look at it at the surface, like, oh, it's like a drug and alcohol rehab. No, listen, I know people with master's degrees that got so tired of all the world influence, including on their devices, that they just took a break for 10 months and they were like, it was the most glorious thing I ever did. It was difficult because I really had to say no to all of my comforts. And I actually had to learn how to listen and care for and counsel other people. It's basically a family counseling training atmosphere where you're using simple conscience and guidance of truth to guide a friend, your friend in the center, who's actually getting bitter about a thing that they shouldn't be bitter about because there's no way they can change it. And you end up learning how to rethink your anger, your desire reactions, your refusal to deal with certain circumstances or people. You become a softer and more well-rounded and actually a lot more successful person when you go through this transformation vacation. So I'm just trying to give you, as a stranger, an introduction to who the heck I am. And I'm telling you, I have corrective words for all of my favorite famous teachers in all of these big fancy outfits, because God spoke to my heart and said, listen, when you're sitting in this one atmosphere, when you see or hear something that's just plain wrong, don't say a word. Just make a note in your notebook, and you go home and study and figure out how you present that differently so that it wasn't deceptive or it wasn't like avoiding, an obvious truth. Because everywhere I went, every atmosphere of those 6 atmospheres that I mentioned, Jewish and Messianic Jewish, Orthodox, Catholic, sacramental, plain folks, separate communities, super evangelical Bible thumpers, information, the word, charismatic Pentecostal, focused on the supernatural miracles, signs, and wonders, and also the social gospel, the ones that truly are just want to care for the people. All of these things were the things that Yeshua was. He was all of those things. And in some ways, these fragmentations have happened since the time of Constantine, when the gatherings moved from a simple home gathering like this to an auditorium lorded over by hierarchical structures and teachers. Now, there's nothing wrong with an auditorium gathering, but if you do not have an honesty family church in a home that's a private meeting of closest friends, then you don't have true ecclesia. If you do not have that, regularly, at least 2 times a week, if not every night or 3 times a week. If you do not have regular conscience cleansing of the men with the women and children present and a communion time, a supernatural communion time where the actual presence of God by your faith is unifying you with Yeshua and with others. I mean, that might sound like a weird concept to you, but it's something that ends up giving you dreams and visions and like ideas for your business and breakthrough thoughts for guiding your children or ideas for their future. It's amazing the stuff that happens as you start to flow as unified humans in friendship with the invisible friend Yeshua. That's what his mommy called him, Yeshua. Jesus' mommy never spoke the word Jesus. Anyhow, so that's my game. I have studied for a long time, and I may just be the most patient and well-informed Christianity researcher that you may ever meet in your entire life. And people treat me like a piece of fluff, and I seem eccentric and unusual and weird. But I'm telling you, I am so serious and sad about the 40 years that I lived unaware of how to run a relationship and intimacy and, life and lifestyle and family and friendship and business. I didn't have a clue about the heavy principles that when you learn them, you're like, oh, I can't do that. That's gonna screw me up, and it's gonna screw up the whole project. We can't even think like that. Come on, let's rethink this project. So I welcome you into the Grandpa Honesty Guy Masterclass, which at this point is a lumpy set of a handful of videos. And I will shift over to Patreon. I will give a quick outline of I've got 20, 30 different presentations that are really fun and fascinating. And I will give you a quick overview of and descriptions of them. And then you can go onto Patreon and sit down and actually study. You may end up spending a couple of days just in listening times and taking notes and rethinking how to be a child, a friend, a young adult, a human being, a person, a family member that loves and cares for the woman form properly, and a family member and friend that cares for the man form properly with all of our stresses and powers. Women have powers that men don't have. Women have a flow. Women have so many different flows. And the man has one, besides emitting. And it's just so funny. So please enjoy. If you've listened this long, I hope that you get a great benefit from the upcoming Grandpa Honesty Guy Masterclass series. It's just for everyone. It's all on kid terms. It's the stuff that I could have understood when I was 6 freaking years old, that nobody sat down and told me, because my parents didn't know. They didn't know the supernatural. They didn't know some of the hidden things that are just sitting there right in the Bible writings. There's some wild stuff in there. Woo, it's incredible. Peace.